Have you ever wondered why, sometimes, without her saying a single word, you can feel a shift in the air between you and a woman? One day, she laughs at your jokes. Her eyes linger. She leans in closer. The next, there's a subtle distance, a coolness, as if something inside her closed. You replay conversations in your head, searching for what you did wrong, but she never actually tells you. That's the thing most men miss. Women rarely spell out the truth of what they feel around you, but they always react to it. Their silence, their pauses, their body language, those are the real words. And if you can't read them, you'll keep stumbling into the same traps again and again. Picture this. You're on a date. She's smiling, sipping her drink, asking you questions, but you notice she checks her phone just a little too often. It stings, doesn't it? You tell yourself she's busy, maybe waiting on a friend, but deep down you feel the signal her attention is slipping. Now, here's the brutal truth she felt your need before you even realized you were showing it. You leaned forward too much. You filled every silence with nervous chatter. You gave her the sense that her approval mattered more to you than your own composure. She didn't need to say it out loud. Women are tuned to feel that weakness immediately, and once they sense it, they can't unfeel it. The unspoken truth is this: women always feel your energy. They feel whether you're centered or chasing, whether you're leading or asking to be led, whether your presence grounds them or drains them. And when you try too hard to cover your insecurity by showing off, explaining yourself, or giving more than what's asked, they feel it even more. A woman might smile. She might say, "No, I like you just the way you are." But inside, something is already pulling away. Think about the times you've over-explained yourself. You texted her back paragraphs when she sent a short reply. You tried to fix things with endless reassurance after a small disagreement. You thought you were saving the connection, but in reality, you were bleeding out respect point by point. What she felt wasn't your words. It was your desperation. She didn't need you to explain. She needed you to remain calm, certain, unfazed. That calm would have told her, "I value myself enough not to panic over your reactions." Instead, your scramble told her the opposite. Here's the pattern most men don't want to face when a woman pulls back her attention. It's often not random. It's a test. She's watching what you do with the silence. If you collapse, if you chase, if you turn anxious, she learns something about you. If you remain unbothered, if you give space, if you carry on with your life, she learns something else. The cruel part is she won't tell you this is happening. She'll just feel it, adjust accordingly, and move closer or further away without explanation. So what's the strategy? It starts with awareness. The moment you notice yourself overreacting to her distance, stop. Don't send that extra text. Don't call her twice. Don't beg for answers. Instead, lean back literally and emotionally. Imagine she's the wind changing direction. You don't chase the wind, you steady your ground. That's how you signal strength. The practical move here is indifference, not coldness, not cruelty, but indifference to whether she leans in or pulls back. You are the same either way. Let me give you an example. A man I knew was dating a woman who suddenly started replying slower and acting distant. He panicked, thought she was losing interest, and began flooding her with messages. The more he tried, the colder she became, until she finally ghosted. A few months later, with another woman, he remembered that mistake. When she pulled back, he simply matched her pace. He stopped over-texting, kept living his life, and gave her space. Within days, she leaned back in, curious why he wasn't chasing. The difference wasn't luck, it was composure. One version of him screamed insecurity, the other radiated calm. and she felt the truth without him saying a word. This is what you need to understand. Women are not listening to your words nearly as much as they are feeling your state. They feel whether your silence is solid or shaky. They feel whether your attention is a gift or a plea. They feel whether you're present because you choose to be or because you can't bear to be without them. They may never tell you outright, but their actions will scream it if you pay attention. And here's the cost if you ignore it. Every time you let your need overpower your presence, you chip away at her respect. Respect is the foundation of desire. Lose it, and nothing else matters. Keep it, and even in conflict, she stays drawn to you. The hidden war in dating isn't about what you say, it's about what she feels when you're silent. That's the truth women never speak, but it drives everything they do around you. Have you ever done this and didn't realize it pushed her away? Tell me what happened. What's the hardest thing you faced when trying to keep a woman interested? Drop your story below. Which mistake do you see yourself making the most? Be honest in the comments. Imagine this, you're sitting with her in a quiet cafe. The kind of place where every word carries weight, because the background is nothing but the clink of cups and the low hum of conversation. You're talking, but in the middle of a sentence you notice her eyes flick to the window. Not for long, just a second. Most men brush it off. But in that small glance, something profound is happening. She felt your energy dip, even slightly, and her instinct was to disconnect for a moment. That's the hidden battlefield you're in. She's not consciously analyzing you, she's feeling you, and her feelings will always outrun your logic. You've probably experienced the confusion of a woman saying one thing but doing another. She tells you she likes you, but then she becomes distant. She insists nothing is wrong, but she withdraws her warmth. She agrees to see you, then cancels last minute with vague excuses. These contradictions drive men insane because we're taught to take words at face value. But women live in the unspoken. Her I like you might be true on the surface, yet beneath she feels the weight of your neediness, your lack of frame, your subtle begging for approval. That hidden layer is the one she actually responds to. Her body reacts before her brain justifies it. Think back to the times when you felt her slipping away. What did you do? Most men double down, they text more. They explain themselves. They try to repair something they don't even fully understand. But here's the brutal truth: the more you try to fix, the more you reveal you've already lost control. Women don't leave because of one wrong word. They leave because they felt your energy collapse. And when you chase to get her back, all you do is confirm that collapse. Let's break this down tactically. If she suddenly becomes colder, your first instinct will be to lean in. That's the trap. Instead, do the opposite, lean back. This doesn't mean ignore her. It means you don't overreact. If she takes 2 hours to reply, you don't punish her or flood her inbox. You reply in your own time, without urgency. If she seems distracted in person, you don't interrogate her with, "What's wrong?" You hold steady, stay present, and let the silence sit. That silence is where your power is tested. Most men fill it with noise. The few who don't, those are the ones women feel deeply. One guy I coached once told me how he ruined a promising relationship in less than a month. Every time she pulled away slightly, he took it as a sign she was losing interest. He'd text her long messages explaining how much he liked her, hoping to reassure her. He thought he was being honest and vulnerable, but what she felt was pressure. She didn't feel his words, she felt his fear. And fear is the fastest killer of attraction. By the time he realized, it was too late. The woman wasn't rejecting him because of who he was, she was rejecting the weight of his need. Now, contrast that with another man who handled things differently. He went on a date. Everything seemed fine. Then she went quiet for a few days. Instead of spiraling, he focused on his work, hit the gym, and lived his life. When she finally reached out again, she was testing, waiting to see how he'd react. He replied casually, as if nothing had happened. No blame, no need. That indifference flipped the dynamic. She leaned back in because she could feel he wasn't desperate. He was grounded. That's the truth she couldn't say, but couldn't ignore either. This is where the psychology cuts deep. Women are biologically wired to seek stability in a man. Not money, not looks, not smooth lines. Stability. She wants to feel that even when she pulls away, even when she tests, even when she withdraws affection, you remain unshaken. That's what signals to her subconscious that you are safe, that you are a man worth respecting. And respect, more than anything else, is what keeps her desire alive. The cost of failing here is enormous. When you crumble at the first sign of her distance, you train her nervous system to see you as weak. She may not articulate it, but she feels it. She might stay with you, but attraction will rot from the inside. And once respect is gone, everything else collapses. The warmth, the intimacy, the trust, it all dries up. She'll say, "It's not you. I just don't feel the spark anymore." But the truth is, she stopped feeling safe in your presence because you couldn't hold your own center. So here's the strategy. Plain and sharp when she withdraws. Match her. Don't chase. Don't collapse. Don't ask for reassurance. Simply keep moving. Keep building, keep living. Let her feel the difference between a man who begs for her presence and a man who remains powerful in her absence. The first loses her. The second makes her lean in harder than she expected. And this is the paradox men need to accept. The less you chase, the more she feels. The less you need her attention, the more she gives it. The quieter your strength, the louder her attraction becomes. It's not logical, it's emotional. And emotions don't obey reason, they obey presence. What about you? Have you ever felt that panic when she pulled away and caught yourself chasing her attention? How did it turn out? Do you think you could have handled it differently if you had leaned back instead? Drop your story in the comments. I want to hear the raw truth. There's a moment every man faces, whether he admits it or not. You're sitting across from her, and you feel it, her interest is slipping. She doesn't say it outright. She still smiles, still nods. But there's a glaze in her eyes, a softness gone. In that moment, your body screams at you to react, to do something, to win her back before she drifts too far. And this is where most men destroy themselves. They think saving the connection means working harder, proving themselves, pulling her closer. But here's the brutal reality. The more you try to drag her energy back, the faster she runs. Attraction is not pulled into existence by effort. It's felt in the silence, in the restraint, in the quiet strength of a man who doesn't chase what's leaving. Let me paint this clearly. A woman doesn't withdraw because you forgot a clever line or because you didn't respond fast enough. She withdraws because she felt you slip into dependence. Even the smallest signs give you away. You ask questions that seek validation. Are you okay with me? You double check if she had fun after a date. You look for little signals of approval in her eyes. All of it tells her one thing: you need her to reassure you. And nothing dries up a woman's desire faster than the weight of being your emotional lifeline. Think about a time when she pulled back and you panicked. Maybe she cancelled plans last minute, and instead of shrugging it off, you confronted her with a frustrated text. Maybe she seemed distant in bed, and you responded by asking her, "What's wrong? Did I do something?" You thought you were being honest, But what she felt was pressure. You made her responsible for your sense of worth. That unspoken burden she'll never tell you directly, but she feels it in her gut, and it turns her away. Now, here's the shift stop interpreting her withdrawal as a crisis. See it for what it is, a mirror. She's giving you a chance to reveal your strength. Most women test not by design, but by instinct. Their nervous system wants to feel if you collapse under pressure or if you remain steady. When she delays her reply, when she seems less affectionate, when she creates distance, it's not always rejection. It's a test of your center. If you chase, she knows you're dependent. If you stand still, she knows you're solid. Here's a tactical example. Say she suddenly takes 3 hours to reply to your message, even though she usually responds in minutes. Your old instinct would be to double text, maybe throw in a joke to lighten the mood, or worse, demand to know what she's doing. That only confirms your insecurity. The smarter move, match her pace. When she replies, don't mirror her delay out of spite, but respond calmly with no sign of agitation. She'll feel that you weren't sitting by the phone, waiting on her. That calmness is power. That's what makes her curious again. It's not what you said, it's what you didn't need to say. Or consider this, she withdraws affection. She used to hug you tightly. Now it's softer, almost absent. Most men respond by clinging harder, trying to reignite the spark by giving more affection. But the correct move is the opposite. Mirror her energy. If she pulls back, you don't force closeness. You match her distance with calm acceptance. You don't punish her. You don't sulk. You simply hold your frame. Within days, she starts leaning in again because she feels the contrast. Your energy is not conditional on hers. That's what makes her respect you. The reason this works is simple. Women crave stability more than they crave comfort. Comfort is easy to fake. Stability is not. Stability means she can trust that your emotions won't swing wildly with hers. It means she feels the freedom to drift without fearing you'll collapse. Ironically, the moment she realizes you don't need her constant validation, she begins to seek yours. I've seen it happen countless times. A man stops over-investing, stops over-explaining, stops panicking at silence. He leans back into his own life, his own rhythm. At first, she notices the space. Then she feels the pull. And sooner or later, she leans back in not because he begged, but because she felt something stronger than words, his self-possession. Understand this clearly. The greatest gift you can give a woman is not endless attention, not constant reassurance, not pouring yourself into her. The greatest gift is your unshakable presence, the kind of presence that doesn't demand, doesn't cling, doesn't chase, the kind that says, I am complete with or without you. That's what she feels but will never put into words. That's the truth that keeps her orbiting around you. So when she goes quiet, ask yourself, will you chase and reveal your weakness? Or will you hold steady and let her feel your strength? That choice defines everything about how she sees you. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever ruined a connection because you overreacted to her pulling away? How did she respond when you tried too hard? Do you believe you could hold yourself differently the next time it happens? Be real in the comments. I want to know your story. Most men don't realize how much they give away in the smallest moments. You're walking with her down the street. She slows her pace. Her tone shifts slightly, and suddenly your whole body leans toward her. Your voice softens, and you try to win her back with kindness or reassurance. You think you're being attentive. She feels you abandoning yourself. That's the silent truth women never say, but always feel the second you adjust who you are to maintain her approval. She senses the weakness, and her attraction fades. She won't call it out. She won't tell you you're losing yourself. She'll just feel it and move further away. This is why so many men are blindsided when a woman leaves. They think everything was fine because she didn't complain. They think silence means security. But silence can also mean disconnection. Women often don't verbalize when they're losing respect because it's not an intellectual process, it's visceral. She simply no longer feels drawn to you. And once that feeling is gone, words can't resurrect it. Respect doesn't erode in arguments, it erodes in subtle concessions, in the way you fold yourself to keep her comfortable. Let's make this practical. Imagine you're on a date. She teases you about something, maybe your clothes, maybe the car you drive. If you laugh nervously and defend yourself, she feels your insecurity. If you snap back with frustration, she feels your volatility. Both are losses. But if you smile, let it roll off, or tease her right back with calm composure, she feels your strength. Same moment, different responses, and the way she feels about you changes instantly. That's the battlefield most men miss. You're not fighting for laughs, approval, or even agreement. You're fighting to maintain respect without a word being said. Here's another one. You're in bed with her, and afterward, she turns to the side instead of cuddling. Your gut tightens. You want to ask, is something wrong? Did I do something that urges the need to fix, the urge to get validation? But if you stay calm, maybe roll over yourself, give her space without panic, you create a completely different experience for her. She doesn't feel pressured to reassure you. She feels your steadiness, and ironically, she's far more likely to turn back to you on her own. The less you demand closeness, the more she feels safe to give it. The reason is psychological and primal. Women are constantly scanning for whether a man can handle tension, not just big conflicts, but small everyday moments of friction, distance, or discomfort. When you collapse under those, she sees instability, and instability means danger. When you hold steady, she feels grounded, and groundedness means safety. That's why women will say later, I don't know why, but I just felt calm around him, or something about him made me feel safe. They can't always explain it, because it wasn't words, it was your energy under pressure. The tragedy is that most men think effort will save them. They believe if they give more, explain more, prove more, she'll stay. But effort without strength only exposes your weakness. You're not supposed to fight to keep her. You're supposed to stand so firmly in who you are that she realizes she can't shake you. That's when she leans back in, not because you pulled her, but because she couldn't move you. So here's the tactic to drill into your bones the next time you feel that urge to overreact. Pause. Don't send the extra text. Don't rush to fill the silence. Don't fold your frame to soothe her. Instead, breathe, hold still. Let her feel your composure. You'll be shocked at how quickly her energy shifts when she realizes she can't control you with withdrawal. I've seen men transform their dating lives simply by mastering this one skill. A guy who used to be ghosted regularly stopped chasing every silence. Within weeks, women started investing more. They texted first. They leaned in harder. They respected his time. Nothing else about him changed, not his looks, not his money, not his personality. Only his energy did. And that invisible shift made all the difference. Because the truth is, women don't need your words as much as they need your weight. The weight of a man who doesn't beg, doesn't break, doesn't bargain. That weight is felt in every silence, every pause, every test. And once she feels it, she won't want to let it go. Now, I want you to reflect. Have you ever noticed yourself folding just to keep a woman happy? Did it work, or did it quietly kill her respect for you? And if you had held your frame instead, how do you think she would have reacted? Share your raw story in the comments. Most women will never admit this to you, but they're constantly feeling for one thing. Do you break under pressure? Not just the obvious pressures like money, career, or arguments, but the subtle ones. The way you react when she cancels plans, the way you look at her when she flirts with her independence, the way you carry yourself when she's moody, distant, or critical. Every one of those small moments is a pressure test. And here's the truth: if you fold, even slightly, she feels it. And once she feels it, she can't respect you the same way again. Think of the countless times you've seen a man beg after a breakup. He pours his heart out, promises to change, sends long messages, maybe even shows up at her door. He believes his words can convince her, but what she feels is not his love, it's his collapse. And collapse never rekindles attraction. If anything, it cements her decision to walk away. What men never realize is that the breakup isn't the real test. The test started long before, in those small silences. Those moments when he revealed he needed her more than he needed his own self-respect. Here's where the psychology bites women. Equate your steadiness with your strength. They don't need you to be flawless, rich, or endlessly charming. They need to feel that when storms hit hers, yours, or life's, you don't lose your center. When she gets cold and you don't chase, when she withdraws and you don't beg, when she tests and you don't flinch, that's when she feels your weight. And that weight is what keeps her tied to you in ways she can't explain. Let's go tactical again. A woman accuses you of not caring enough. Maybe she says, "You never pay attention to me anymore." The weak man panics. He apologizes, overcompensates, showers her with affection, and rearranges his life to prove her wrong. In the short term, she might smile, but in the long term, she loses respect. Why? Because he let her accusation dictate his identity. The strong man, instead, listens calmly and says, "I hear you." He doesn't argue. He doesn't grovel. He doesn't bend his life into her approval. He shows he can take feedback without losing himself. That calm presence feels like power, and power draws her closer, even when her words seem critical. Or imagine she throws out a jealous remark about another woman. "Oh, I bet you'd rather be with her." The needy man rushes to deny it, smothering her with reassurance, desperate to convince her she's the only one. But the grounded man just smiles and says, "You really think so?" with calm curiosity. No defense, no panic, just steadiness. That subtle difference changes everything. One man makes her feel like she can push him off balance. The other makes her feel like she can't shake him at all, and she'll never admit it. But that unshakable steadiness excites her more than 100 words of devotion. This is the invisible scoreboard most men ignore. Every time you react from fear, you lose points. Every time you remain calm under pressure, you gain them. She's not tallying it in her head, but her body feels it. Attraction isn't built in declarations, it's built in micro moments of pressure where you either hold or collapse. And once you collapse too many times, no amount of words will save you. I knew a man once who lost his girlfriend after 2 years. He couldn't understand why. He was loyal, generous, attentive, but when I asked him to remember their fights, he admitted something I always caved. I just wanted peace, so I'd agree to anything. He thought his compliance was love. What she felt was weakness, and weakness killed her desire. Contrast that with another man I know, whose girlfriend once threatened to leave during an argument. He didn't yell, he didn't beg, he just looked at her and said, "If that's what you need to do, I won't stop you." She broke down, crying in his arms, not because he was cruel, but because she felt his strength, and that strength made her realize she didn't want to leave at all. This is what you must burn into your mind. Women will not tell you the truth they feel. They won't say, "I'm losing respect because you keep chasing my approval." They'll just drift away. They won't confess, "Your silence makes me trust you more than your words." They'll just feel it and act accordingly. Your job isn't to decode her words, it's to master your energy so that no matter what she says, she feels your stability. And once you do, you'll notice something shocking. The very tests that used to terrify you now become opportunities. Every time she pulls away, you grow stronger by holding still. Every time she criticizes, you grow more solid by not breaking. Every time she tries to provoke a reaction, you show her she can't control your center, and that, more than anything, makes her feel safe, drawn in, and deeply connected. So let me ask you this: have you ever caught yourself breaking under a woman's test, only to regret it later? Did you see the respect drain from her eyes when you folded? And can you imagine how differently it would have gone if you had simply stayed calm, unshaken? Share the story below. I guarantee you're not the only one who's been there. She didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect.